on the computer. And then I'm gonna go live on Facebook. 1 second.
It's in the building. Adjust this camera for me real quick.
Blood, I didn't even have a Zoom on this phone.
I figured that. That's why I said you probably had to download that shit real quick.
I did.
Did you get that email I sent you?
Yeah, I listened to it a couple times and shit. It's crazy because you damn near did what I was gonna tell you to do, like in that little space.
All right, we live on Facebook. Look, I got them. I got them. You guys start tuning in. Let people know. Well, I got Root Dog, JDK. They are here.
What's happening?
Let me go ahead and edit for a minute. Let's see. Okay, no, 1 second. 1 second. Okay, disregard. Okay, 1 second. I need to go here. Where's my edit? Copy link.
Come on, man. Come here, girl.
Come on. Edit post. Where's my edit audience?
Come on. You want to be a star for a minute? Come on. Come here.
1 second, you guys.
Come here.
I know Facebook ain't tripping with me. Let me see. We're gonna go.
Look.
Ask search. Profile settings.
Say hey.
Hey.
The world wants.
Hey. There go your uncle. They gonna say uncle.
Hey. What's up, baby?
Turn off notifications. All right, you guys, we are live. But I think Facebook is tripping with me. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to go to.
I got my 5 minutes in.
Okay, we're gonna go to me.
Ooh, these niggas is playing their ass off. Ooh, OKC and they ass right now too.
All right, you on?
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching.
They watching the game, y'all. Y'all hear? They watching the game.
I'm watching the game like a motherfucker. Yeah.
Hi from profile move.
Yeah, it's OKC
and save
and the Pacers. That boy going crazy.
Yeah, but I was saying you damn near, when I came home and I was listening to the proof of it, you feel the first one?
Yeah.
I had got some ideas and shit.
But in my mind, when as soon as I heard it, I had a little thing. I said, I'm
your partner set. All right, you guys. Facebook, I think they done moved where I can't. The moderator can make changes. Manage video. Is it manage video?
Let me put the baby down.
They I think they done caught on to what I'm doing.
They didn't shut you down, baby?
Where I could make it public. Like people can see it on your page. So what I'm gonna try to do now is, man, Facebook is something else. Because usually I'll be able to like edit audience, right?
Right.
Anybody would. Let me hit edit post. No, I don't want to edit the post. I want to be able. What I'm going to do? Okay, this is what I'm about to do. I'm going to
take as much time as you need, baby. I'm sitting there smoking, relaxing. Hey, look, look. I don't know shit about the technical side. I'm just here for the interview, okay?
Right. Okay,
I got your back though. When you get it together, I got your back.
I got it right. I'm gonna just tag you guys right here.
So take your time. You might have to mute us for a second.
No, we about to get. Listen. All right. So I tagged you guys. Boy, Facebook is something else. They just really just all right, you guys. Turn on for. They are in the building. They are not in the building, but they're in the building at their house. Okay. So let me just make sure. Let me just go.
Yeah, I'm sitting there watching.
Look, I can hear it. All right. We are live on Facebook. I hope everybody can, see. For some reason, Facebook does not it didn't let me make it public. So I tagged you guys. Hey, can you guys go to your page? No, your
Let me
page.
see if I go. Let me see if I can go to my page real quick.
Let me see.
Let me see.
What we looking for? A link, a tag?
No, the video, us live.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's on my shit.
Okay. It's on yours? Okay.
Which,
Yeah, it's on my shit.
which one did you tag me in?
Oh,
What page?
I forgot. You got the other names. Hold on. I forgot JDK. Let me do the
Yeah, do Kyle, because the Kyle one got a lot more motion.
Yeah. Let me okay, where is it at? I totally forgot about that. Okay. So need it now.
Yeah, we 5,000 deep if we do Kyle. We can get the whole Sacramento covered with that one. That nigga JDK might be that nigga JDK might be short a few fans. No, I'm just fucking with you.
There we go. Let me see. All right. So see if it's on there now.
Okay, okay, hold on 1 second. That will be in my inbox or what?
No, it should be on your page.
Okay, let me see.
I'm just so mad right now. Boy, there's something else. Notify people in Messenger. Schedule event to go live. Boy.
I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong, or Kelly.
Let's see.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Okay, let me go to Kyle.
It hasn't updated yet.
Well, Ruth, you said it's on.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. I just seen something. Yeah.
Okay, we live on yours?
Let me see. Let me add the profile, right?
I think so.
Yep, I added to profile.
Come on.
We on?
You got it?
Okay, we on like shit.
Okay.
Hey, when you went to your page, you didn't see it. You didn't see us on there because I just went to my page and pushed play.
Yeah, we on like Donkey Kong right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
History. All right. Let's see. Hold on. All right. Right. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm so excited to have my brothers on here. Let me go back to my Zoom. What's going on, family?
What's going on with it, baby? What's happening?
I'm so excited to have you guys. All right, let me go back so I can see all the comments. All right, you guys, if y'all hold on. If y'all don't know, I'm gonna let y'all know. All right. First of all, let me go ahead and start with the one and only Root Dog. Okay. What they say about Root? They said Root first appeared in 1994. 1994 on the classic song Smoking the Bomb, also featuring Sibo on Marvelous's debut Ghetto Blues. Is that right, family?
Yeah, that was my first professional appearance.
Okay. And then they said you did you was also on Young Dre D. You was Living in the Strange. God, you know, Who Put Sac on the Map? And it says Root Dog released his debut album in 1999 entitled Catch 22. And the album is a bomb that's highly sought even to this day. All right. Root Dog released his sophomore album in 2003 entitled, what was entitled? My eyes.
I think Realism Reality. Actually, they kind of got it backwards. I released the project before Catch 22. Independently, you know what I'm saying? I didn't, you know, it was called Realism or Reality.
Okay.
And then I did Catch 22, and after that was Shitty Crucifino.
Yeah, I couldn't say all that. That's what was said. I was like,
all my albums
Realism or Reality
like
kicked it off.
self-titled with episodes.
Okay. All right. Root Dog. Me and Root go way back. Now, JDK, the underboss.
I got something for you, Alita. Watch this. I got something for you.
Oh, you froze up. Go. What you got for me?
They say.
Why he's getting that? Let me tell you about JDK, the underboss. All right.
What's going on,
He is the boss. Wait a minute. What? Oh, what's that? The 916 magazine.
This the first magazine you put out back in the day.
No, that wasn't me. That was what's the name? That was Will.
You took me to this.
Oh, I took you there. I took you to the interview. I got you
Maybe
the
maybe it was
magazine.
just you took me there because you hooked me up with this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a pleasure to be here. You know, I appreciate you inviting us though. You know, it's a long overdue, and I'm proud of you. You know, keep doing what you're doing. You
Oh, yeah,
know,
most
I'm
definitely. But
I'm
I
I'm,
got to
glad-
give you
I'm
your praises, though, family. Wait, hold on. So JDK down the boss, born in Oakland, raised in South Sacramento, Meadowview area. Start making music at the age of 12. Is that correct?
First rap
Yeah.
I ever did was in elementary in front of my school at graduation. I was an adolescent, you know, at a young age, so that rap music bit was like a passion for me. That was my escape route. Not to mention, you know, having a brother like Root Dog, you know, who finessed that talent. We would learn every song that you know together, from KRS-One to Rock Kim's to all of that shit. So music was in me. It wasn't on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sixth
Well,
grade, the teacher said, "Look, if you stay your ass out of trouble, you know, I'm gonna let you do this education rap." In Miss Jones' class at Dyer Kelly, you know what I'm saying? She let me do that shit. The whole school went crazy.
oh,
So I knew from there I was gonna be a part of this shit. I you know, and plus it was so close in the household that it was there. You know what I'm saying? By the time I was 12, 13, I was ripping grown niggas' heads off.
wow. Well, he didn't just end with music. We won't get into the clothing line, the magazine, and him acting and everything. Root Dog. So how did you get in? Let me ask you, what were you like from kindergarten to sixth grade? What was Root Dog like?
Yeah, initially I thought I was Walter Payton. I was a sports head, you know what I'm saying? I was, I was a. It was crazy because I was real little, but I had a talent for running the ball. Like most people that played ball in my position was a lot bigger than me,
Right.
but I was able to achieve and surpass a lot of their accomplishments. I mean, the coaches used to cheat to get me on the team. I didn't weigh enough to get on the team. You feel me?
Hey,
But
my brother heart was big. It was big. And see, the thing was, it never really mattered about the size. Root was a nigga that was fearless. You know what I'm saying? So Root could get out there and dance with the best of them. He didn't give a fuck. You know, he knew how to Walter Payton shake on your ass, wear that
man, you know
34
what's
jersey.
funny is like,
You know what I mean?
sometimes you be at that age where you just young enough to fuck with the younger crowd, but you're a little older than them, so you know about what's going on in the crowd older than you. Me, I always was in a fucked up position when it came to sports, even though that was my love. Like, my brother Nooch, he was very, very good at sports too, but he always got to play in his realm. So he mastered that shit. He killing people in that shit. But me being an older brother, I'm like, I can't let him outdo me, So like my little brother say, my heart was hella big, but I'm in there nervous as hell because I'm 95 pounds and I got to play with the 145s and the 155s. And I remember one year I went out to play baseball in Berkeley, and I was in a 13 or 15-year-old league. Everybody on the team was grown men with mustaches and beards and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I barely was, you know what I'm saying, but fucking 4 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? But I got out there and handled my business. You know what I'm saying? So over the years, you know what I'm saying, I never let, you know what I'm saying, who I was or what size I was, pump no fear into me. You know what I'm saying? If it was the challenge and it's something that I wanted to accomplish, that I was going for it.
Right.
Right. Man, what about you, JDK? I know you started rapping at 12, but from kindergarten, sixth grade, what was JDK like?
Well, really,
That
I'm gonna
nigga
be.
was a fighter.
I was a fighter. My eyes was open. I was aware, I mean, as far as the sports and activities, that was recreation in the hood. They had a game they used to play when I was a little kid called Rat Cow. And that was everybody against me. You know what I'm saying? The old school Rat Cow. So recreation was part of our influence. But like Roop said, I was really a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Just
I was
you don't see me on me.
a hustler, very observative, you know what I mean, paying attention, wanting to do more, watching my older brothers, Nooch and Roop, do a lot of things, but also having my own, structure of how I wanted to do shit, Really, I was just a kid that was ahead of his time, and I grew up around some motherfuckers like in a household that had a genius mentality. Like Roop, this nigga could have been a scientist. That nigga used to put together Ataris and shit like that. I thought that nigga was going to the moon when we was first growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different ways we could have went. You know what I'm saying? With this shit.
Wow.
You
Now,
know?
what about high school, junior high and high school? What were y'all like?
Whoa.
Hey, you know, that's a good question because
Whoa.
in junior high school, I wanted to go to Cal Berkeley. You feel me? So and I went to Berkeley High right down the street. You know what I'm saying? So by Cal being so close to Berkeley, Cal Berkeley being so close to Berkeley High, you know, it kind of gave me that motivation and that ambition. My dad, you know, one day came and told me probably the realest shit ever. He was like, "Hey, Root, you know, you really not built for football." You know what I'm saying? He like you good and shit, but then you finna start playing for these high schools and these niggas is 300 and 400 pounds. You know, you trying to do all this other stuff. He said, imagine taking the finals and playing the instrument and carrying your equipment. And it struck a bell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had a couple 2-month injuries, 3-month injuries. You know what I'm saying? So I related to what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? The time it can take from you doing things or whatever. So I start focusing on trying to go to school, but then, you know, as the story goes, Miles was a hustler. You feel me? Let's start from the start. Miles was a hustler. Miles had shit sold up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sold up. You go ask anybody about us in Berkeley and shit like that, and they're gonna tell you, my mom had shit sold up. You know, we not gonna incriminate and say all the, shit, but mom had shit sold up, you know. So we had a misfortune of them people coming to see us. You know, I'm coming home one day from school, whatever, whatnot, with about 5 or 6 friends, and you know, I'm looking down the street, and I'm seeing hella cars, and the closer we get, we like, shit, that's in front of our house. You know what I'm saying? When we got closer, you know, it was alcohol, back on firearms, the feds, a little bit of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we was Miles packed our shit in the Beacon's truck that night, and you know, we had an auntie that was up there in Sacramento.
Rest in peace, Auntie Pat.
That night, we was out of there. I mean, we didn't get to say bye to friends or nothing and shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to come back to do all that shit. So, you know, I was catapulted in the 9th grade to a whole nother life. You know what I'm saying? I landed in Sac and had to figure out, you know, what the hell I was going to do.
Yeah, let me elaborate on something, Alita. See, it being the age difference between, you know, me and my bro, when I came out there, I was, you know, when he was in the 9th grade, I'm coming out there, I'm a pup. So the new age in Sacramento of the rival of the Reds and the Blues and what size everybody, choosing and different things like that.
It hadn't even really started yet.
That's what was going on when I was in junior high school, even when I was in elementary. You know what I'm saying? Because it was new arrivings and at Howe Avenue and all of these different places. You had a lot of people coming in Sac from different areas. And I had to circum or whatever and find my position in a growing stage of what was going on in these streets out here in Sacramento. So I came to this motherfucker and kind of got right with the program at a young age. You know what I'm saying? At like 6th grade, 5th grade, 11th grade, 7th grade, I was already in tune to what this shit was about, and also having an education in the Bay, being able to cross that bridge.
Both of them, both of my younger brothers, Nooch and JD.
You know,
I think, well, Nooch mainly. You know, Nooch was in junior high when we landed in Sac, so you know.
And I'm in elementary.
When gangbangers start coming into Sacramento, you know, he knew more about it than all of us. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I heard about it, whatever, whatnot. But I was already at the K house, so you had a lot of people that gangbanging was second coming to them. They was in high school trying to graduate, trying to play sports, whatever, whatnot. So you know, I would go home and see some shit at the school, and I go home and tell my brother, hey man, these niggas got into it today, and this nigga called this nigga this, and this nigga called that. What do that mean? You know what I'm saying? And he at the junior high school, so he know all what the shit meaning. So he laid to me about what it mean and who's who. You know what I'm saying? So I was probably, you know what I'm saying? You know, JDK was younger, so consuming exactly what it was, he was probably the last to understand, but them niggas probably both knew about it before.
Right. And then you got to look at it like this. So say, for instance, I was a traveler in elementary, right? And like I went to 5 different elementary schools in Sacramento. I went to fucking John Sloat. I went to Lineback. I went to Howe Avenue. Then I graduated from Dyer Kelly. So if you take that joyride, that's Del Paso Heights, North area, South Sacramento. That's every piece of the culture, and just in you know, elementary alone. Then when we get to junior high school, I'm going to Wussy Woods. So that's another culture shock. Now you're in the middle of Sacramento, going to school with 6 different neighborhoods and a bunch of, you know, new age Asians and shit like that, you know, whatever's going on in the city. And you got to figure out how to move around this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I always had to figure out how to position myself, you know what I mean, to do what the fuck I needed to do. And I tried not to call my brothers and disturb their peace as much as I can. But them niggas was always there for me and still there for me. A phone call away.
Wow.
You know?
So Roop is the oldest and JDK, you the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Wow. Okay.
So, and then you know how that worked. Like, Nooch is the middle brother. You know, that's my older brother. Always been a hustler.
Shout out to Nooch.
Always entrepreneur. Shout outs to Indion, you know, Doe and everything they got going on. You know, it's always been an experience, great experience, and having 3 different personalities and being able to build, because Roop is very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So Roop is the type of motherfucker that I can always call, you know what I'm saying, in any situation and say, look, bro, you know, I'm in this situation. And sometimes information is more important than what a motherfucker can put in your pockets. Right. A nigga can give you some game and then you could take that shit and run with it and create a business and never have to look back.
Now, Roop is, yeah, he always had people's backs and stuff, because one time I had this squatter up in a condo, remember, in the what's it called? Shoot. What do they call it? Park, what's it called? G Parkway.
G Parkway.
And I pulled up, right? And I saw Roop, and Roop was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "There's a squatter up in there." He's like, "You ain't going by yourself."
Right. See, a lot of people really don't know our story.
Give me 2 seconds, man. Let me go in the house, man. We're gonna go get blood up out of there.
Yeah. You did. Right. Nobody was in there, though. Nobody was in there. So, but
you know, we had to pound the pavement, leader. You know, as brothers, as a young brother and you know, and an older brother, you know, we had to really see this world together, like, and trust each other. You know what I'm saying? We had to see what a lot of people don't know. We had to trust each other with each other's lives. When we come to these places and we don't know these places, we living in Seattle, it's me and bro every motherfucking day. It's your turn to hold it, my turn to hold it. Your turn to hold it, my turn to hold it. So when you develop that level of a relationship with a motherfucker, you know that person inside and out. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, in the early stages of when we were on the road, Realism and Reality, Catch 22, it ain't a movement that Root had that I wasn't right there grabbing that mic. I don't give a fuck. Sneaking out of school, missed jumping periods, whatever, making sure that I hype man and made that shit amplified so that people could feel that shit in their soul. Yeah. If you look, a real Root Dog show was JDK and Root Dog up there going fucking crazy.
Right.
And we made the streets and the world know that. You feel me?
Lucy Brandon said, "That's him." LOL. Yeah, that's what Lucy said.
We can't forget about we can't forget about the gorilla, man. You know, BG was always, you know, supportive of my movement. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you know what I'm saying, I got up there and I had, you know, a traveling situation or whatever, I definitely could count on them too. You know, the funny thing about it, you know what I'm saying, like I said,
Bounty G Rilla, shouts out to BG.
My brother Nooch was a hustler. You know, and you know, we come, you know, like I tell people, you know what I'm saying, everything you do is about timing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, people ask me all the time, they be like, you know, why you don't do this and why you don't put this out, why you don't put that out? Because, you know, I'm a harbor of music. I got a lot of music that I did and I haven't put out. But, you know, in my older days, you know, I'm looking out and I measure, you know, what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And by this point in life, you know, I've created a family, which becomes priority.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That becomes my first responsibility. So if the shit don't weigh out on the scale with me, you know what I'm saying? You know, I had fun, you know, and I'm older than this nigga. So, you know, I don't want to be, you know, in a situation where, you know what I'm saying, I'm not, you know, making room for some young new person to have a chance to be a star, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, whatnot, because I'm overclouding him or whatever, whatnot. But like I said, timing is key. And we come out that era when when the shit was inoculated into the streets. You know what I'm saying? You know, the government was deciding that, you know, they're gonna push crack into the neighborhoods or whatever, whatnot, and it was supposed to be our black people's misfortune, which truly it was a lot of our misfortune. But all of us didn't sit down and take it like that. You know, some of us was like, shit, I'm finna hustle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My brother was a hustler. So in the beginning, that nigga didn't want to hear nothing about no music. I mean, I was succeeding and he was supporting me. So, you know, but, you know, you would never believe the news that you get today and how dedicated he is to his craft and helping these artists get to the places they need to be in their career.
Right.
You would never believe. Only me or JDK could probably tell you that in the beginning, Nooch was like,
fuck rap. Yeah, he was like, fuck rap. And that's the thing, you know, like bro say, all this shit come back, you know, full surface. Cause when like I said in this new song we did, you know, I was jumping out the Root Dog van like a vigilante. You know what I'm saying? And really motherfuckers don't understand.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, JD, because earlier she mentioned Marvelous, and you know, I cannot do an interview with giving Marvelous a shout out because I haven't seen too many interviews where she don't let it be known that you know what I'm saying, I was very instrumental in bringing her to the table.
Right.
And starting off her career. I appreciate her for all that. And, you know, she keep my name, you know, valid in the streets or whatever, whatnot. I also got to give a shout out to Sibo because, you know, me and Sibo did some shit that was people didn't think we was gonna be able to do. You know, Sibo being a Crip, me coming from a blood situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, instantly they like, how that's gonna work? You know what I'm saying? But you know, Sibo family is from my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And we knew Sibo outside of the music and shit. You know what I'm saying? Me and Sibo and Marvelous used to meet up at parties and shit and do ciphers and shit and rap back to back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, one day, I mean, out the blue, I'm standing at the Hindu gas station, you know what I'm saying, on 69, I mean, on Red Willow and Meadowview. I'm standing at the store where, you know, the homies hang out. And Sibo happens to ride up on me. And he like, I'm like, what's up? What's up? He like, what you about to do? I'm like, nothing. He like, ride with me to Vallejo. I'm like, what you going to do out there? He like, I'm going to fuck with E40 and in the clique and woody whoop, you know. Man, I jumped my ass in the car.
Right.
I had a rap contract. I had a rap contract the next day.
Really?
You feel me? And so this
hey,
was
you know what's the trip? You know what's the trip, right? As he talking this shit, right? Alita, I was there through everything that this nigga's talking, right? So it's playing back in my head as a little kid, because you know he calling me as his brother, like nigga, I just jumped in the car with Bo, nigga, wooty whoop, nigga.
Yeah, see, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't give JDK a choice. You feel me? I'm coming home like, nigga, you gotta write this verse. Nigga, you
for real. And you gotta remember, I'm 12 years old at this time, 11 years old. I'm on the road, Alita, out, you know, in Seattle, going to fuck with Andre Nicotine and them by the time I'm 13. I'm performing at Rancho Royal and shit at 14. By the time I'm 15, I'm at Cal Expo performing with Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, people don't know that. You know what I mean?
Opening up with Root, you know, then doing shit like, you know, when they had the show with Joe and the R&B motherfuckers. I'm coming out there opening up with Bajay, you know what I'm saying? And different things like that. So I'm getting a taste of that stage, getting that hunger up out of me. Even when I was on the road, like, you know, jumping out the Root Dog van was like, nigga, that was life or death. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to go on the road and go out here and experience this shit. And one thing about this music and this business, it all comes back full surface. Like, I know my bro is very calculated when it comes to doing this shit. My next project, you know what I'm saying? I made sure, you know what I mean? I got that Root Dog ingredients on there. You know what I'm saying? So when it's time to spill this shit the way we need to come back to the people that love us, because it's an audience of people that love Root Dog and JDK. And I still do this shit for them. But I made sure, you know what I'm saying, that voice is heard for the motherfuckers that the dog do it for. Because everywhere I go, every block I hit, motherfuckers like, what's up with the dog? So I got some of that energy I'm bringing back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do some videos. We're going to do some hard shit. You know what I mean? For the motherfuckers who do support and that's been down with us since day one. You feel me?
All right. Well, let me tell you, Sub-Zero, he said, Root Dog, we go way back before a lot of these cats. Day one, when you first touched down in Sacramento. That's from Sub-Zero. And then,
right.
Huh?
Shout out Sub-Zero. You know what I'm
saying?
We go way back.
Man. And Jalil, he said, what's up, family? So, yeah. But okay, so how did you get it? I mean, I don't know, we talked about a lot of stuff. How did you actually like get into music? Like, oh, okay, how'd you do your first rap? How did you, what?
Me,
I mean, how did you decide that you wanted to get into the music business? What were you doing, and who was your
that's a
inspiration?
good question, because like I initially said at the beginning, my mind, elementary all the way up until the ninth grade, you
Was
know what I'm
there a
saying?
group? Was there a group like Sugar Hill Gang or something like that that you'd be like, man, I want to do that?
Well, like JD said, whatever was hot back in the days, I knew all the words to. So,
Right.
but I didn't really know that was a talent.
Right. I think every time I hear those songs, Alita, like I can name a few, like Rakim, Root, no, because I was right there with him, fucking Above the Law, Rakim,
Rakim
KMG.
is why Rakim is why I started this shit.
That KRS-One, Love's Gonna Get You, Business is Boom, and Everything is Fine. Bought myself a Uzi and my brother a 9. I always thought I was the brother that he was talking about that had the 9. When as a kid, that was my imagery of wanting to be in the Root. Because when Root looked at me and said, business is booming, everything is fine, I bought myself a Uzi and a brother a 9. He looked at me, I was the brother with the 9. You know what I'm saying? So it was shit like that made me grow into having a love for this shit, and
But
certain lyrics.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Like I said, I would I think it was about 6th grade, maybe even younger than that. I knew all the, like you said, the Sugar Hills, the Run DMCs, and, anything that was popping. I learned the words too, because I had me a little radio set up, a little Walkman set up. You know what I'm saying? So I was very music related. So far as the lyrics, even Michael Jackson, on down to some Michael Jackson, I knew all the words to him, all that shit. Rick James, all that shit.
Right.
So, when like I said, my whole childhood, my whole neighborhood, all my little cousins and older cousins, we was all sports fanatics. So they wasn't looking at what I was doing or even let me know that, nigga, you talented with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that I thought even about doing. It wasn't until I moved to Sac and niggas was like, damn, nigga, I got to give a shout out to Marv Mitch. I never forget.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Marv Mitch had to be about Marv had to be about the 5th or 6th grade, maybe the 7th grade, right? and I walked up to the school to John Slow, and them niggas was playing marbles. Him, P. Hound, and Dorian, old school Dodo. Shout out Dodo. They was all out there, him and JDI, shooting marbles. You know what I'm saying? And in the town, you know what I'm saying, we was more familiar with jacks and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, there was marbles out there, but it wasn't a hobby in the hood. So I ended up coming up to the school one day, and these niggas got personal packs of marbles in their pocket and shit with
Hillies and all kind of shit.
all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm tripping. I'm like, what's the game? They got a little marble hole and shit where they playing or whatever, whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these niggas, got a little something going. I'm trying to learn it. And I never forget, I'm in the background and I start singing Richie Rich. The Hitler was a killer. Frank, what was a Mac? Felix Mitchell made money in 20 G stack. Moses split the city and King Tut wore gold. That nigga Marv started looking at me, and I was rehearsing the whole song. After it was over, he came up to me, was like, man, that shit was tight to the motherfucker. Woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? And, I was, at that point, I'm like, yeah, that's Woody Whoop, Richie Rich. And you know what I'm saying? That shit really hadn't traveled up the freeway all the way yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't gonna say it wasn't there, but, it was in the older crowd. You know what I'm saying? So the youngsters, you know what I'm saying, seeing me do that, I ain't gonna lie. Marv was one of them sparks. He gave me that feeling that I had something special. And then I fuck around 18 years old, and I went to the county jail in Sacramento. I was in there with the same Doug we was talking about earlier. And he used to clean the floors at night, you know what I'm saying, and shellac the floors, you know what I'm saying. He'd be running around there singing Prince, maybe it's just like my mother. and niggas in the jailhouse will be screaming for this nigga to sing it. You feel me? So one day we locked down, we all in our cell, and I come to the corner of the door and I jump on that motherfucker. I said, "At night I can't sleep. I toss and turn, candlesticks in the dark. This is the bodies being burned." In the corner just staring at a nigga.
Right.
Man, the jailhouse went crazy.
Right.
The jailhouse, thus the rapper was born. You know what I'm saying? Before I could even get out of jail, I was writing my own rap.
Right. Right. And see, you know, it's a trip
table,
too, like
old school.
Alita.
Go ahead, JDK.
What I was saying, you know, it's a trip like them niggas used to be breakdancing and shit before Roop and them was even rapping and shit, him, Nooch, and all of them niggas. Them niggas was raw with the old school boogaloo and all of that.
Yeah,
so,
I won a couple tournaments and
hold
shit. I
on,
won
let
a
me
tournament
speak,
at the Scottish Rite
before
Temple
the
back in the day.
terminology, like how these people say the hip hop culture, my niggas was already embedded in the culture outside of just the art form of rap. So I knew in some form of fashion, in some level of entertainment, you know what I'm saying? That was gonna be some shit that we grasped hold to. Because we all kind of had that spark in some form of fashion. A lot of the family members that was around us, the immediate household that we grew up with, nigga had to know something about that. You know?
Yeah. Well, JDK, when did you like? I know you know, Roop and everything. When did you decide that, hey, I'm gonna do this rap thing?
Well, like I told you, at a young age, I really recognized that this shit was for me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I was forcing my hand. You know, when the response time that I got from the streets, from the community, and motherfuckers that was a lot older than me, the Sebos, the whoever was doing whoever, you know what I'm saying, in the city. I didn't mind going in the garage and locking up. So a lot of people in the city encouraged me to do this. They knew I had what the fuck it took, you know, and the loyalty that I had with bro, that helped me see a lot of shit. That was like artist development. You got to remember, like, wasn't no big label or nothing like that, or no big corporations behind us. We was doing this shit from the gut. Even though bro was older than me, he was still a young man.
Dope money.
He was still
a young. It out with hustle money.
He was with hustle money. He was still a young man himself. So I couldn't expect my brother to know everything about the game, about publishing and certain things like that. I came to the table at 12, 11 years old, you know, and
you remember what I told you?
Let me speak though. We was learning this shit together, really, you know, even though, you know, I'm really was with whatever he did, but recognizing that I had the talent, you know, I was willing to go on any journey I could really to get all the game and the necessity I need, because I knew it would come a time and place. I didn't give a fuck about putting out no album. I just wanted to be where I needed to be, showcase my talent, support my brother, and do whatever the fuck I did on the side or whatever until I could put myself in a position to figure out what I really wanted to do in life.
Wow. What are you gonna say, Roop?
As I was saying, you know, timing always plays a part in, and you know, the music industry is so wide open now. It's kind of, you know, I hate to use the words watered down, but
it is
a lot of gallant efforts go unseen now because it's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you kind of inoculate and pioneer some shit in a certain area, like I said, you may be in a situation where it never came out before. Nobody never been that person before. You feel me? So, you know, when you get in position to where, you know, you spearheading some shit for a certain piece of the community, then it's a different feeling from what it is now. Like, a lot of these rappers today are hated in their own hood,
which is terrible.
Man, niggas, mamas and grandmas and granddaddies rooted for us when we was kids.
Right.
When we was trying to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I went, you know what I'm saying? This shit wasn't looked upon as with the Nate, you know, that it is now. You know, a lot, you know, stick to it, Root Dog, stick to it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get that going. You know, let me hear that. Let me, you know. So, you know, like I said, the feeling of support at that time was so much more different. You know, you couldn't help but to be motivated and have a certain ambition. You know what I'm saying? Like Bruh said, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I'm saying? It's so funny because I can break the story down to you. I go jump on the Greyhound, run to the Murder Dubs, and spend a week in the Dubs with my cousins and shit. You know what I'm saying? And run it up. You know what I'm saying? I come back with 3,000 or 4,000. Now I'm going to Funky Fat Graphics, give me some posters and stickers, take me and JD some pictures. You know what I'm saying? And me, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to where I was always in the right places at the right time. You know, I got a lot of friends who are multi-million-dollar stars to this day, who I was at their beginning. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was like I might even open the window for some of them. You know what I'm saying? Vice versa. But
a lot of
them. You know, we're not gonna pop names, but a lot of these niggas I opened the door for. So, you know, as my career began to thrust, you know, I got a lot of feedback with love. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of motherfuckers flying me in and out of state and, you know, giving me beats, you know what I'm saying? Major names, you know what I'm saying? I shout out, you know, a few of them in a minute, but major names giving me major shit. And some other shit never got to come out. But like I said, it was homework.
right.
It was toolage, you know what I'm saying? We was forever learning how to make our way. And we didn't have no distribution shit. Go ahead, Jetty.
Like bro was saying, you know, the love of this music shit is so out of the loop because of the support system that we had in these communities, that a lot of these younger artists, and not just younger artists in general, motherfuckers feel like they got to go against the grain to make it. You know, the support was right at home. You know, you can go to KJ's daddy house, throw a swim party, figure out whatever the fuck you want to do. And we had community support, and we had people that loved us within these communities. Like, motherfuckers don't even believe in each other. We live in an era now to where it's backdoor shit going on. Rest in peace to all of these young men that have been, you know, falling victim in Sacramento. It's the culture of what's going on in these streets and shit like that. It's not safe. So you have people not wanting to go to venues, not wanting to support the shit that's going on because of the corruption. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are scared.
And like I told you in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I weigh shit out, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the way, you know what I'm saying, this thing we have in hip hop is embraced now. The way it's embraced is very dangerous. You got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? So that shit don't weigh out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my priorities is in living and being a part of my family that I created. You know what I'm saying? I got you know, kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm the brother that created all the nephews and the nieces for everybody. So at the end of the day, I you know, I kind of let me tell you some shit, you know, because I wanted to admit some shit about myself. You know, this is a part of a growth thing. You know, I grew to realize that I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You feel me? I was that close to going to the penitentiary for life. I was that close to getting a major record deal. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to toot myself on the back, but you know, looking back, you know, fortunately, I was able to ice skate real well through the trenches and shit. You know what I'm saying, to get some of that shit done. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you know, I go spend 2 weeks doing all-nighters with the goons, you know what I'm saying? And come back to in the hood. And, you know what I'm saying? Once I come back to Meadowview in the hood, you know, I didn't got my shit on. I'm also able to take care of what's going on in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but I always had that shit in me. Like I said, once it got in me, it was calling me. It was calling me. So, you know, there thus came a point in my life where I said, you know, can't be both of them people. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, and little brother tell you, you know, I washed my hands of that part of the game for about 10, 15 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of walked away from it. And I personally feel like, you know, you ask for a certain blessing and you follow through with your deed on your promises, then you may be blessed. So I figure, you know, once I kind of got my ass out the middle of the street, you know, fortunately, a lot of things start happening for me in the music shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, all praises due. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I just like to, you know, so like JD say, you know, shout out to all the youngsters out here trying to make a, you know, life for themselves and this shit, and rest in peace to all the youngsters that unfortunately losing their lives in this shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, you know, this is why I wanted to make that admission, because, you know, I came at a point, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, I understood that I had my ass too far in the street. So, you know, because, you know, JD will tell you, it got a time where we would start succeeding and we in lights, camera, action. We hitting these states and shit, our name in big lights and shit, whatever, whatnot. And while we doing this, the task hitting all my houses back home.
Man, you know, and like I said, this shit has definitely been a long journey. And, you know, bro, I wouldn't change nothing that we did, you know what I'm saying? Because this shit don't stop. And like you said, the seeds that you planted, you know, still live on forever. And that shit is embedded in my generation, a generation up under me, and everything that we ever touched. You know what I'm saying? Certain shit, you know, only land for a little bit, and certain things last forever. You know what I mean? The shit that we did is embedded. And it ain't a price tag you on what you can put on what Root Dog and JDK did in this shit. Motherfuckers
Man,
know
it's
that
crazy. It's crazy you said that because I
it
was
ain't a
doing
price
another.
tag that you can put on the shit now. You know, at this point in my life as a man, like you said, I purified myself to where clear my role with all the bullshit. You know, we branding. You know, you a part of that too. The Needed Now brand and the magazine. I make sure don't nothing that had no bullshit have to do with that. I try to keep that as pure as possible. So everybody is welcome. You know what I mean? It ain't no politics involved. You can feel safe. This is a place that you can advertise at, you can support a black man trying to do something. I could be out there chopping motherfuckers' heads off, but I decided to create businesses, create a label, and continue to keep this shit going like I was, you know, raised and trained to do. You dig what I'm saying? So be looking for the new album, Contaminated Waters. Root Dog is on that. I didn't put nobody on it but my bro, because I wanted y'all to feel this essence. My for those of y'all don't know, my daddy died going on a year next month. So I spilled my motherfucking heart out on this project. This is probably some of my best work. So stay tuned for that, for shit show.
And I heard the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? I was given the privilege to get a early shot of that bitch. And you know, JD will tell you, you know, we've been telling, you know, I dragged him into this shit with me, you know what I'm saying? I needed a partner. Why not nothing better than your brother? You know what I'm saying? He was admiring what I was doing. So I'm like, nigga, you can do this shit too, you know what I'm saying? But you know,
That nigga used to tell me
the
that every
feeling
day. I'm
of
12. Imagine being 12, 11 years old and the nigga, your older brother telling you every day,
but
nigga,
let me say this.
you could do this
The
shit too, nigga.
the feeling like,
On
you
blood,
know,
nigga.
of seeing him, the feeling of seeing JD come into his own and actually, you know what I'm saying, you know, as what they say, manifest to maximize to its fullest potential. You know, I remember like when me and JD used to do a lot of raps together, you really couldn't tell us apart. You feel me?
Right,
Because we was on a style. You
right,
know, we was on a style. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But you know,
I gotta
JD,
pause you 1 second, bro. A nigga came over my house today and listened to a song, a friend of yours. I ain't gonna say no names, but he listened to the song. He said, "Damn, I never really recognized how you and Roop's voice kind of sound like one. When you guys
yeah,
rap, y'all shit is hella similar. Y'all shit sound so much
yeah,
alike. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I never
It's
tripped
Nick.
off that, bro. You feel me?
I remember. I remember when I went to Atlanta. JD tell you, I packed my shit up one day and I went and challenged myself. I'm like, go out there to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I'm start hitting all the clubs and doing shows and shit. I won the 2014 mixtape awards out there. Um, but it was crazy because I did a song with JDK and Yuckmouth, and you know, like I said, all of us was on that same style. So I went to this club one night. They gave me 2 songs. So I got up there. One of the songs, you know, based on I went to Atlanta, I had remixed a TIB. I kind of, you know what I'm saying, was giving myself the benefit of the doubt. They didn't like this beat. That, you know, this is Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. But on my second track, I did the track with me, JDK, and Yuck Mouth by myself. Did all the lyrics,
What
and
the
nobody knew
kaboom?
nothing.
The kaboom. Yeah.
Kaboom!
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. Everybody thought the whole rap was me, JD.
Right.
You feel me? You feel
Oh
me?
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But as I was saying, to see my little bro manifest and maximize till his full potential come into his own, you know what I'm saying? Listening to this last album that he's finna put out right now, you know, I honestly could say, you know, it did something to me. It brought me to tears. It kind of, you know, re-energized me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm an older motherfucker now, so you know, it take a lot for me to get, you know, in, you know, because I see, like I said, I know a lot of talented motherfuckers going nowhere because their mind is in the wrong place. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so easy to get veered off into trying to impress the who else is in the street or whatever, whatnot. So you forget who the fuck you is.
Right.
Take your hands off your own steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? So
Correct.
it's like, you know, that shit detoured me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm older now. You think different as you get older. You like, you know, I'm not finna go put my ass out there where I possibly can't come home to my beautiful ones over some fake ass shit.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was thinking about this interview earlier, and I was thinking of a way to say it. But we used to go to these cities and get embraced. Fuck a motel. We have a motel and never go to the motherfucker.
Hey, it's big weed.
Niggas' grannies took us in for weeks.
Hey, Root, tell them, bud. I used to be 14, 15 years old going to perform with you on the fucking military bases and shit like that. Motherfucking, they taking me on little kiddie tours and all kind of little shit.
JD, what's the nigga name? What's the nigga
Remember we used to go to San Diego. You remember we used to go to Dago? Who?
What's the nigga name from Hilltop?
Which one?
Nucci's partner.
Shit.
Diller Duck.
Dope. Yeah.
Diller. Man, shout out to the motherfuckers in Tacoma, my Hilltop crib partners.
Man,
feel me? When I came up there, man, listen, ask Keek the Sneak. Me and Keek the Sneak went out there. Man, a motherfucker grandmother took us in for a week and fed us like Medea, my nigga. 3 and 4 meals every motherfucking night, nigga. You know what I'm saying? All the Hilltop Crips came and embraced us, took us to the clubs. I read down, nigga, performing it with everybody, nigga. They embraced me out there, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's just different these days, you know what I'm saying? Right. Nigga, fuck around, you got to be careful out there, you know what I'm saying? This music can, it can cost you your life.
Well, one thing I want to say is, shout out to, like JDK, like back in the days, we had, my video show and there was another video show and they had magazines.
Right. And JDK, speaking of that,
I'm glad you still have things that people touch, that people can still pick up. Everything is off the internet right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we was thinking of doing that shit just for the fun of it all, the posters and stickers and
Speaking of that, the 27th issue is out. We're featuring Roof Dog. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Gangsta Dre. I got free copies available. Y'all can advertise. Y'all can purchase T-shirts. Hit me on IG at JDK.
I need that Gangsta Dre hookup because I needed it back in the days.
I got the black and white fresh needed nouns in right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can purchase y'all T-shirts.
I see you had Young Meek in there. Shout out Young Meek. You feel me? I see you doing your thing.
Yeah. Yes. You understand me? 2-3, what's happening? 2-3,
I want to spill some beans, y'all. I want to spill some beans. Me and JDK were just talking, and I told him we need some sexy ladies. You need it now. Okay.
Well, look, let me let you know. Next week we got 2 weeks from now. We got the new shit coming. We got the ladies shit. We got for the kids. We going from young to old. We got grandma could come get some shit. Whoever want to come get some shit. We gonna have shorts, T-shirts, just the short tops. All colors, and I'm coming at you first. You feel me? Because you need it now.
He may do some. Look, he may do some lingerie because he need it now.
I was just about to say, get some of them old gowns and shit that you sleep in and shit. You know what I'm saying? Throw it on there. Them one pieces, man.
Come on, man. You already know, champ. You already know, champ.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. I just love. Yeah, but I'm trying to remember, when did we first meet? I mean, it was so long ago, but you was always a guest on my show, and I made sure I played you guys' videos and stuff. But you always reached out and showed support.
I always, used to see you around at the important events. You know what I'm saying?
That's what me said.
Right. Every time you look up, a leader gonna pop out.
And then
all the shit
it's by nature that you start paying attention. It's by nature. At one point, we go back, leader, let's bring some shit up. At one point, you was handling business for me. You was actually setting some shit up for me for a short period of time. Oh, out of love too, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I gotta love you for that. But I used to see you at a lot of these shows and people that was making up these shows, and I can always remember you telling me about events and giving me a heads up and who I should talk to and how to get involved with some shit. So, I knew that, you was gonna be somebody great at what you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I always kept her in mind, you know what I'm saying? It's a trip because, when you came and visited me in Oakland, I had a conversation with my wife and I was telling her, how far we go back and different shit that we had encountered and, over the years in the game. But you always been somebody who been instrumental in with advice or or leading somebody in the right direction. So it's like, you know, far back as I can remember, I knew to pay attention to you.
Wow. And JDK, I was like, man, you guys just come in my life. I was like, man, when did I first meet them? You know, but
Man.
now that you're talking how you used to be with Root,
And I'm gonna tell you, when I started the Sacramento, when we started moving around with the brand, a lot of them events and shit that I was doing, I remember you would always show up. I was doing collaboration events with B Smooth and different people like that. I would always see your face. So, like Roop said, you know, I come from the game where you treat everybody with respect. If you showing up for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers respect me with this music and this magazine shit because it's consistent. You know what I'm saying? When I started the Sack Report, I did the first issue. I didn't know if I can keep this shit going. Now we on damn near 30 issue now.
Wow.
So the consistency of doing this, shouts out to First Degree, shouts out to all the black businesses I'm able to help, realtors I'm able to help, because it's not just a rap magazine. You know what I'm saying? We helping the community. We want to get the kids involved. Anybody doing something positive. We trying to save lives, even if we can. You know what I mean? Mentoring these kids to do better things and support them in all the ways that we possibly can, because this street shit is lame. It's watered down. Niggas ain't gangsters. Niggas is rats. They gonna tell on you if you do something. I've always been a vigilante with them myself, even with my brothers. I didn't even want to get them in trouble when I had problems. I kind of dealt with my own shit. You know what I'm saying? I always had that mentality. I was a man child. At 12 years old, a nigga thought he was 50 already. I got this. I was a nigga who thought he got this all the time. You did? Mm-hmm. But Root, if I called him, I knew a tornado would come. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that nigga never hesitated. You know what I'm saying? I love my bro for that. But at the same time, we preaching positivity. And we just, it's a new era, you know what I'm saying? But I love blending into this shit. I got new producers that's 19, 20 years old I'm working with, so I'm fucking with the youth. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying fresh. I'm staying fly with it. And I'm letting them tell me what to do, because I want them to teach an old dog new tricks. I'm going to teach them some of this good game. We're going to mix this shit together, and we're going to, you know what I mean?
One thing about you, JDK, and I know you heard me say that, I forgot who I was interviewing. I said, one thing about JDK, he don't bite his tongue at all. He gonna tell you the truth. He don't, you know.
I don't give a fuck.
You don't.
If it's fuck you, it's fuck you, nigga. If I love you, I love you, nigga. But if I don't, stay your bitch ass away from me.
Jay, yeah, when y'all, I want to warn y'all have a conversation, JDK, just expect to get the real. Don't, he don't like, he's a caring person, but when he talking to you, he gonna keep it real, and he ain't gonna 100. He's the
don't come around me with no bullshit, because I can see right through it.
What Nooch say about me, dog?
Huh?
I had to learn to understand some shit Nooch had said about me back in the day.
What did Nooch say?
Because, just as JD, I ain't biting my tongue about shit. And JD tell you, I'm a war with the Godzilla, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to throw his ice right back at him, you know what I'm saying? But it gets a situation where, in this game, sometimes you got to learn how to intake shit and not so much throw out how you feel, and give people, you know what I'm saying, an advantage of how you stand. And, because this is a very manipulative game. Me, Nooch used to say, Roop, you ain't gonna never make it in this music industry because you're keeping it too real. You know what I'm saying? You're keeping it too real. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I'm everybody that do something wrong, I'm on their helmet, I'm on their beanie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, I had to learn
like
how
you
to
said,
evolve.
Roop, you can't let people know too much of how you feel. You got to kind of dumb this shit down for motherfuckers, because we live in a sensitive times. You might hurt one of these niggas' feelings with a facial expression, a comment, a post, or anything like that. Motherfucker hate to see you shining for shit show. So you always got to stay on their level, like you said. You feel me?
I mean, like I said, I had some very fortunate situations that placed me upon some very reputable people in the music industry back in the day. But I also understand, I was also in some dangerous shit. I mean, y'all look up on YouTube all the time and y'all see they still trying to figure out who killed Pac. They still trying to figure out
Indiana, man. They done whipped Oklahoma ass too.
But this the thing. Me and JDK was that close to all those kind of events and shit. You know what I'm saying? Without the cameras. But you know how many niggas go through some shit, you know what I'm saying, that ain't celebrities or ain't, real big, in this music. Me, we had some very, very crazy experiences, man, on the way up that ladder. You know what I'm saying? So, I had to even like I said, I watch a lot of this YouTube and shit, and though I be in disgust most of the time with what our people are doing to ourselves, you know what I'm saying, for a little bit of clout and fame, it's a learning tool for me, you know what I'm saying? Because, at the end of the day, it teaches me how, when I do want to do certain parts of this business, how to weave through it, when to keep my mouth shut, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And how to go forward with just the business, because I'm one of them niggas who used to try to pay attention to everything, get on everybody's helmet, you know what I'm saying? So it was a very often in a lot of those situations I was in, see your audience, like JDK said, we had a loving audience. And a lot of them would always think shit going right. But really, it'd be a game of chess back at the record label.
Yeah, for real. For real, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it really be a game of chess back at the record label. You feel me? And you just really trying to shine and make it look good. Like I said, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Record label ain't paid for this. I bought them posters and stickers and all that shit to make my brand look good. Right. You niggas, if I would have sat back and not did that, y'all to hold me through. Y'all to hold me through this shit and had me like one of them niggas that used to be on the label that never came out. Right. I wasn't having it. Right, I was prepared. I was prepared to be dropped off a label and dropped next week. You feel me?
Now, speaking of that, JDK, you started a label, right?
Right, right.
Now, and it's called the same thing as your brand.
Everything, on the lines of what I did with this music shit, I try to keep it one direction. When I decided I wanted to make a decision and start a label, you know what I'm saying? I started a clothing line to go with it, and I kept it all in one round. So Needed Now Records was the beginning to my situation. I ended up getting a digital distribution deal with Empire. So I have a label situation where I'm independent, but everything come out on all digital platforms. You can check out like everything I'm doing is on YouTube, it's on Vivo, it's on Apple Music. I got a Spotify page. You know what I'm saying? Just type in JDK, the Underboss. You feel me? Even this new music I got with Big Bro. You know what I'm saying?
Come here, baby.
We putting that back on all platforms. You know what I'm saying?
Come here, Robbie.
Allow, the real Root Dog fans and motherfuckers that fuck with us since day one to hear Bro on a wider level. You know what I'm saying? And see these comment a little bit. Hey, what's up, Nisi Pooh? I see you. And comment, hey, feel free to engage and get back into letting my bro get back into this shit on the level to where the people is into it. They engaged in it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a high level. This shit is a business. It's not just rap. And that's what I learned. So that's when I got my publishing together. I got my BMI, my ASCAP, certain things like that I knew I was gonna need in the long run, because they don't teach us that shit when we coming up in these streets. They don't teach us to do this. So when I started the label, I just didn't want to be a nigga saying I got a label. I wanted to figure out how to do it, get a digital distribution deal. I did it. I wanted to figure out, the BMI aspect. I did it. I wanted to figure out publishing. So I educated myself, self-education, and figured out how to do this shit to where I could monetize everything. Now I got a YouTube channel, certain things like that. So when it's time for us to do business, now we can get the rewards that we deserve off anything we do, whether it's me and my family or anybody that I'm fucking with. You know what I'm saying? Because I want everybody.
You know what's funny? Niggas is that smart now. Niggas is that smart. But let's take it back. Like I said, because timing is a motherfucker. We from that era where, the homie balling. The homie having some money.
Right.
And you got talent.
Than what they doing now with the streaming and all.
And you got talent, right? So, naturally you like, I'm gonna get with the homie. He gonna put this album out and woody woo. You know what I'm saying? So this is the evolution I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you happen to be one of those artists that went through some of that shit, you know what I'm saying, or know what I'm particularly talking about, that shit. Now I understand why the mad rapper became the mad rapper. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the audience and the fans don't always know that shit ain't cool behind the curtains. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. They still cheering for you. They
A
still
lot of the
cheering
times
for
I
you.
did interviews, and once the camera went off, they were talking about the label. JDK,
Right. And
how
then,
did
you know, the biggest
yeah.
education is fucking up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what?
JDK, how
Huh?
did you get the name JDK the Underboss? That's what I want to know.
I mean, it's a long list of all them. I earned every letter of that shit. Just say that. Look, that's a long story. That might be a whole nother
you put it
interview.
together. If you put it together, you know what I'm saying? We always was in chemistry. I
You know,
like
you got to look at it like this. You know, I got a homie named JDI. That was my nigga. We used to run together. His name Ira, my name Kyle. So that was the beginning of it. That was the first extension of it, the JDKs and the JDIs, you know.
before the music.
Shouts out to my nigga JDI, you know, bro. And after that, you know, as this music shit transitioned, you know, we start moving around, you know, and we attached the underboss to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And initially, at first, I was JDK out the gate. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
First
tell
couple,
them, Jay,
first couple songs, I was
it
JDK.
started from this movie called The Last Don, and I liked one of the characters, and so that's where I end up attaching my nickname. You know what I'm saying? Shitty
Yeah,
Cucifino across the Don.
he was Crucifino with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be
So
real. You know, I'm gonna be 100 with you. Shouts out to my nigga Nino Black too, Black Ass Bam.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Shouts out to my motherfucking nigga Nino, because he was one of the first niggas that went and got me a shirt made. Nigga, I remember that motherfucker said JDK the Underboss on that motherfucker. You know what I mean? We talked about it, the name and all that. You know that we was doing the Young Gun shit at the studio with your nigga Fats in them studio that you went to Rio with. We was in Fats in the studio. That nigga pulled up on me on 36 when rest in peace Skrillaroo. You know, all the homies and shit who ain't here no more. We had that group, the Young Guns. You know what I mean? Lil Pooch Blood, everybody was in that motherfucking group. It was about 20, 30 of us. And when it was time to hand out t-shirts, that nigga mine said JDK the Underboss on that motherfucker. And
now,
nigga,
Root Dog, how'd you get? I know your name's. We know your first name was Rupert, but how did you come up with Root Dog? Why did you pick
shit,
that?
that shit came. My mama's sister gave me that name at 4 years old. You know, my mama had 12 sisters. You feel me? So, and we from that era where, you know what I'm saying, they was pushing that manhood into you. So, nigga, you know, I come from that. I got the aunties that used to say, nigga, fix your collar, nigga, the bitches ain't gonna like you you know, if you got your collar fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So,
real shit.
you know, at a young age, you know, that nigga, my limp and my step and all that came from, you know, family and aunties and shit. They Root Dog. You feel me? From the gate, Auntie Marsha. My Auntie Marsha gave me that name, Root Dog. You feel me? Before any
That's
nigga
the thing,
on the street ever called me Root Dog, my auntie called me Root Dog.
Without saying too much, that's what basically what a motherfucker's saying is when you got these nicknames and certain things like that, it was certain behavior that you had that was within your structure of who you were as a person. My energy was like the underboss. So it wasn't no one particular motherfucker who gave me that name or me naming myself. That's what it was. Like Roop said, Auntie Marsha and a lot of motherfuckers gravitated on that. Roop was the dog. I can remember, you know, being a little kid and hearing, you know, Roop coming through and they say, hey, what's up, dog? You know, so that became his you know, his name, Root, you know what I mean? And he was the motherfucking dog. You know, I'm in the streets, I'm with bro, I'm with whatever, I'm moving like the underboss. I ain't trying to be a nigga on you know, the loudest nigga in the room, most of the time is the weakest nigga in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my nigga, rest in peace. Shout out to my nigga Big Brisk, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the shitty part came from, you know, my activities in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? All my kids, everybody walk on our toes, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, when it's on, I come through stomping, you know what I'm saying? Woo woo. My nigga Big Brisk, rest in peace, used to be like, oh shit, here comes Shitty.
He knew.
Because, you know, they start calling me Root Diddy Dog.
Right.
And then, you know, I never liked the Diddy name, you know, before, you know, I never liked the shit, period. You know what I'm saying? My auntie kind of added that on to what she already had created. Root Diddy Dog. You know, nigga ran with that for a few years, but then that nigga Big Brisk said, nigga, that's my nigga Shitty.
Right.
And I rocked with it. You feel me? Big Brisk, rest in peace, my nigga. Love you, miss you, dog.
Speaking of your kids, I love your daughter. What's your daughter's name again? What's she go by?
No, she go by Janetta. That's my mama's name. You know, that's her middle name. Her name is Latricia. You talk about Latricia, right?
I love that girl. Every time she sees me, she gives me a hug and everything. So shout out to my girl. So
yeah, I just want to
that's my oldest
tell you too, we really appreciate, you know, you having us on this show. And you know, I hope I see a lot of good things coming with this type of energy you bringing. You know what I'm saying? So keep fucking with it the way you doing. I've been watching your show, seeing
I
different people
know,
you bring,
thank you.
seeing
Yeah.
different people you bring on there. You know, I'm supporting everything you do. If you
Yeah.
know you need the SAC report, you know, I'm gonna be here for you. You know, me and bro, we here for you. And you know, let's just keep this shit going. I just
I'm
wanted to
about
put
to
that
get
out
in
there.
the SAC report, y'all, because I'm about to close. Like, I'm about to close on 3 deals. I'm about to get another offer tonight for the.
And we got room for you. You know what I'm saying? We got room for you. But look forward to, you know, I want to, you know, these events that we got going on. We have a workshop coming, which is going to be for, you know, people coming out that's into business shit. You can come out, network, some vendors if you want to get involved. I'm doing a record release in SAC. With a live band, I'm gonna come out and do some
Oh,
work. You know what I mean?
yes.
Perform, and I want to do some things that people feel safe. Motherfucker don't got to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do some upscale shit and try to put some class on top of what's going on, and weed out the suckers and weed out motherfuckers that don't belong in this class group. You feel me?
When's the video shoot? When's the video shoot?
Got 8 videos I'm about to shoot
Look
for
at,
this
look at,
project.
look at.
So
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
got
turn.
to get him one.
Listen. I'm turning this album into a movie. So I got 8 videos coming with this contaminated waters. You know what I'm saying? I've been a lot of shit been going on through my mind since I lost my pops. So I'm gonna bring this shit out to the people and let you know and share some of this good music. You know what I mean? Celebrate while this weather be good. I'm gonna have motherfuckers pulling out these whips and we gonna have fun this summer and get back to that.
And I'm glad you're still doing, like, you don't hear too much about record release parties, all the stuff that we used to do back in the days.
Right.
So, you know, I like,
You know what I learned? You got to bring the people back into what you got
yes.
going on. Like I got a website right now. I'm gonna, you know, I'm upgrading it. I want all my materials on there. www.jdkneedednow.com on IG. JDK Needed Now. Make sure you motherfuckers come fuck with me. So I'm making it to where everything I'm selling is on there. Everything I'm doing, all my verses, anything that's going on with JDK, you can get involved. Whether it's merch, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to make the people come shop with you. I'm not chasing motherfuckers no more. I'm bringing motherfuckers back to me because I need it now, not later. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
You know?
we got Jackie Poland watching. We got Doug McNeil watching. My big sis, Sunshine Jones. In fact, me and her going live tomorrow night. Talk about how people could buy land for $1,000 or under. So she's a boss. You are the underboss. Well, I don't know. We call it the under queen.
Right.
Beast.
Well, shouts out to Justin
That
Williams.
sounds good.
Shouts out to Justin Williams on that realtor shot. We trying to get
Yes.
involved with the black-owned businesses. Shouts out to Big Daddies, all the businesses that advertise in this magazine, because it ain't just about artists. This shit is about the people. So, you know, anybody like that need help that's listening to this, make sure y'all tap in with me for advertisement. We press up physical magazines, you feel me? And we give them away for free. We don't even charge the people.
And that's why he's the underboss.
Justin Edwards. Shouts out to Justin Edwards. You know what I mean? With the
Yeah,
realtor.
I just had him on.
He just helped me in a situation with some property. You know what I mean? So he's solid. I fuck
He's
with
good.
I
Justin Edwards.
fuck with blood. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
For
That's
real.
why I had to get him on the show. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Ruth, anything that before we go that you want to, mention or, let people know what you got going on?
Well, JD basically gonna drag me back into music, whether I want to do it or not. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, fortunately, I never stopped creating music. You know what I'm saying? I just more weave my way out of the bullshit. I became smarter as a businessman, and I'm not one who doesn't recognize when you're not in position. You know what I'm saying? So whether than chase my tail and run out there, for egotistical value, or as they call it today, clout chasing, whatever, whatnot, and trying to make myself look like I'm some not. I'm just be chilling and waiting for the opportunities where I'm exactly who the fuck I say I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just did a couple tracks for Mad Pads compilation. I just did a couple tracks for L Fingers' new little thing. I do a lot of work with L because we both stay up here. But I just did some shit for JDK shit. So
Right.
throughout the
And
summer,
speaking of that, Alita, not to cut bro off, but be looking for some great shit with that though. You know what I mean? Because I know when I do come fuck with my bro, like my shit is together. I'm correct when I come fuck with the dog. So we gonna put that shit together like a movie. It's gonna be a nice video. You know, we gonna sit down and get this shit to the people the way it's supposed to be gave to the people. You know what I'm saying? So That's why, you know, I made sure I got my brother involved. You know, this shit wouldn't be right without the dog involved in this shit. This shit go full.
I got some dope ass tracks though. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna
It go full surface. You know what I'm saying? And
truth be
one
told,
thing
I
they
need
say,
to get off my ass.
yeah,
Truth be told,
yeah,
you feel me? Because I ain't gonna lie. You know, I'm one of them niggas that walk. You know, remember how you were just saying earlier? You know, the game used to be real tangible. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my fans are still my fans this day because I fucking put their CD in their hand. I put they single in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Or I sign their poster. You know, or they bitch titty. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Or whatever the hell. You know. but
Sign them hoes
you
titties,
know,
man.
but the thing is, you know, a lot of people, you know, approach me. A lot of people approach me in regular life, you know, form, and I don't even be on some music. They be like, "Man, ain't you whooping? Man, when you gonna whoop?" And I'm like, right now, check this out. Listen to this. I be sharing everything. Listen to this. Listen. So a lot of niggas hit me up like, "Man, you bullshit." You know what I'm saying? And you know, there's some truth to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't sat back and you know what I'm saying and enjoyed the life I created outside of music. You know what I'm saying? So
You know, the good
it just
thing is, man, I'm gonna be
it just
honest
took
with
a couple pushes. You know what I'm saying? And JD just came from down here,
you, man.
fucking with me. You know, we spent an equivalent amount of time in the studio.
Right.
I actually
And
went
you
back.
know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I'm glad I got the opportunity to get that real root dog that motherfuckers been missing. You know what I'm saying? Now we're gonna take this shit to the big screen. You know what I mean? And make motherfuckers feel it in that spirit because, you know, that energy that my bro put out to these people and the shit that he did for years and his groundwork that he laid. When you go look at them YouTube videos and you go look at some of them comments and people in Detroit and them different cities and them states like that, and they talking about the group dog raised them and shit like that, and they in Houston and they done made videos and shit. You know, I tweak like that. I go fuck around. You know what I'm saying? I see these old videos and nigga talking about he grew up on this shit and wooty wooty woo. This shit is embedded in people's soul. So we owe them people that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when I did this shit, I made sure I got one with bro that the people gonna love, that everybody gonna fuck with. You know what I'm saying? And stay tuned for the next video. You know what I'm saying?
Is there anything that you want to? I know you already said a lot what you got going on, JDK. Is there anything before we go that you want to let people know you got going on, or you know?
Shouts out to my bro Nooch, man. You feel me?
Yes.
If you watching, bro, you know what I'm saying.
We should have had him on here. I should have had him.
Keep that shit popping. You know what I'm saying? Man, just expect a lot of good things, man. You know, a lot of positive energy. Expect events. Expect this new project. You let me know if y'all need
that man an interview within himself, man. You feel me? Gonna call that man up, man, and you know, cause he got a lot going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the work he do is real stomped down and should be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? It need to be. You know what I'm saying? Cause you know,
well, somebody just jumped on here. Good old Rico. I've been knowing y'all since we were kids.
Rico the motherfucking great, man. That's my cousin, man, with his monkey ass. Man, what's going on, nigga?
I gotta get him. I gotta get him.
Hey, but you know what?
Definitely.
We appreciate all the support, man.
We go back to the birthday days I was talking about.
You know, we appreciate all the support. We love everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor to sit down, you know what I mean? Because me and my bro don't get to do this and elaborate on some of the great things we did together and some of the great things we have going on. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. He said he could out-rap both of y'all.
Telling me full of shit.
I think that's another show. We will have Rico and y'all.
Hey, that's my cousin. I love that nigga, man.
You know that nigga the mouth, man. We ain't finna try to challenge that nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? That nigga talk us through the night, my nigga. You feel me?
Man.
We ain't finna try to challenge that nigga. Shout out to my nigga Rico.
Shouts out to the great, man. My motherfucking cousin the great. One of the most talented comedians in California, man. You know, a lot like you say, man. A lot of motherfuckers can't fuck with him, man. You dig what I'm saying?
I'm glad that nigga ain't talking about me no more. That nigga been talking about us since fucking 4th grade, man. Y'all don't talk about that audience now.
Hey, I love that nigga, man. But I appreciate the support, man.
We gotta give another shout out. Look, you know, to Fab too. Shout out to Fab. Y'all
Shouts out to Cuzzo Fab. Check out the new single me and Fab got right now. It's called No Plan B. Stay tuned for that video. It's available right motherfucking now on all platforms. JDK and Mr. Fab, No Plan B. If you got Spotify, YouTube, nigga, I don't give a fuck what you got. Just type it up. Look it up. You feel me? We fucking with
What's up, Cuzzo? I hear you. Shout out my Cuzzo. You feel me?
And we still need it now around this bitch. You hear me?
Fab was on some of them trips with us, you know what I'm saying? You know, Fab went with us out there, you know, when it was really independent, stomped down.
Fab, you said Fab was with you? Back in
Yeah,
the
you know,
You goddamn right.
yeah,
That's my
back in
cousin.
the
That's
days, man.
what?
Like I said, I don't be doing a bunch of name dropping or whatever, whatnot. But you know, it was a blessing to be able to be in. You know, you remember I had that van. You know what I'm saying? I had that van, the Roof Dog van, JDK just so recently was talking about. Man, listen, me, Jacka, Hustler, Pretty Back, Keith the Sneak, Jay Stalin, you know what I'm saying? A couple more, Jake, San Quinn, Messy Marv. We done all stacked up in that van and hit state to state. You feel me? It's state to state. And in the beginning of all our careers, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like that era of the industry is like family with us, you know what I'm saying? Because we all seen each other, you know, seeds planted and shit, you know,
Right.
where niggas
That's
glued
what I
to
said.
it,
That
you
shit
know.
is like an alumni. Like bro say, anytime I see anybody that's from that era or whatever, that like Rube said, that shit is it's a brotherhood that we all share because of I watch all of them niggas have nothing. Bro, watch these niggas have nothing. You know, at the beginning stages when they was coming over.
Shout out my nigga Mac Mall and Ray Love, because I
You
had
feel me?
I had the fortunate blessing of you know, during that time when Pac was just getting out of jail, you know what I'm saying? He was working with Layla Steinberg, as I'm pretty sure you know.
yeah.
Layla managed me for about 5 years for free.
Yes.
And that was a great experience because we was meeting all type of motherfuckers. When Layla was
She
managing
hooked
them,
me up with
we was
everything. She
around
hooked me up with
everybody. Shit.
anything.
That's right.
I was having major shows with me,
Shit.
Ray Love, Mac Mall, Seagram, Keith the Sneak, Totally Insane, RBL. She made sure I stayed in the limelight of the names of the who's who, you know what I'm saying? So I can't never forget that part of it, you know what I'm saying? I was a Greyhound bus nigga up and down that highway, you know, Sacramento to Oakland, Sacramento to Oakland, Sacramento to Oakland. You feel me? So I was fucking with them all, you know, the Sam Ballsticks,
DJ Durrells, K
DJ
Lou's,
Durrells,
K Lou.
K Lou,
Yeah, cause we recorded that pajamas at K Lou's, nigga. You remember?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So you
we
know,
did
like
some
I said,
shit there.
I was fucking with a Studio Tone, a whole lot of them, you know, artists who had major names back in the day. DJ Daryl, Brother Broski, you know what I'm saying, all them cats. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
know,
Miko, you know,
with me,
Meek was just
shout out to
saying,
that whole era.
young Meek was just saying how, you know, Studio Tone and going out with the van, going out to Oklahoma and all that. You know, that was back in days for, like I said, the internet and all that came. But one thing I don't miss is carrying those big old cameras and all them lights and stuff.
Well, you know that you know, I must admit, it's kind of what threw me off of it. You know, when the industry became not where, you know, we had fun. We had fun, you know what I'm saying? And we watched it, you know, and I'm not faulting totally today's generation for it, because we inoculated, initiated, you know, a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's just spun out of control now, you know what I'm saying? Risk versus reward is like, you know, a motherfucker now. So it's
Right.
like, you know,
The balance of a career ain't lasting. A nigga be you hear about a rapper that one week, niggas' careers ain't lasting 6 months.
hey, my favorite word, as soon as they get a good run on the YouTube, nigga, they finna go to jail and get smoked.
Man, niggas ain't making it 2 months. Nigga get on Thizzler, it's over.
As soon as the nigga get on motherfucking one of them good platforms, my nigga, his ass out.
It's over. You feel me? So the energy
And
of it
them
is,
niggas all telling on themselves.
man, ain't no more artist development for these you know, artists and people like that. So if you didn't come from humble backgrounds and humble beginnings, motherfucker just gonna go out there and crash out. And plus these drugs, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no real OGs getting in these niggas' ears. So like you said, it ain't all they fault because they really don't have a platform to follow or a script to follow. These young niggas is out here crashing because it's the blind leading the blind. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the game. That's why every time I see one of these youngsters, I try to pull them to the side. I got a 19-year-old producer who I'm working with right now. I'm mentoring. I try to keep him on the right track and shit like that because it ain't about, you know, certain individuals. It's about these new young niggas that's coming up, and you got to paint a better picture. You know, they gonna make their decisions, but at least give them the game. You know what I mean? Because we had that. I did have niggas to get the game from, and that stopped me from crashing a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, these niggas are scared of these young niggas. They don't even want to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't even give them a chance.
Right. Now, one last question. Have y'all kids, are y'all get into the music industry, into the, you know?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to get my sons in trouble right now, you know what I'm saying? But my sons, you know what I'm saying, they didn't found a way to go get them an instrumental off YouTube, and they go for it. You know, I got them three 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? I got a triple second.
Roop done recreated the whole band. That nigga got the JDK new channel Roop. You feel me? He got the Three Amigos. He got the new improved Three the Hard Way or whatever. Them niggas is hype, man. They dance. They sing. You feel me? They do it all. My nephews is crazy. You know, little Carter boys. Hashtag. You feel me?
Man.
Nigga, something else.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, they something else. You feel me?
Well,
But,
I appreciate y'all. And I know the game is on. I know y'all want to get, we done have a few people done popped up, but I just appreciate, we got to do this again. We got to bring Nooch on. But I can't wait to be, you know, me and Rico gonna be at the video shoot acting up and stuff.
Right. And everybody check it out. You know, I got the workshop coming up. Shouts out to the art gallery. Again, I want to involve everybody. I'm gonna have a live band. We're gonna have some vendors and shit up in there. Possibly get my cousin Rico the Great to come out there and show the fuck off and do what he do. Shouts out to Meek. Shouts out to everybody that's tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Me. We need it now around this motherfucker new Root Dog out JDK coming on my next project and the video coming with that. We on some raw shit, raw and uncut. You know what I mean?
And I keep bringing it up, and the sexy needed now shirts and stuff and shorts.
And I got the shirts coming for the ladies. You feel me? The half tops. You feel me? Because we need it now and not later around this motherfucker.
Wait a minute, you just said half
top. In this motherfucker.
We need the what's it called? You said just the half. You just gonna do the half top?
Man, I'm gonna do every color, short, half top, V-necks. You feel me? It ain't gonna be nothing left top, tops, half crops, all that type of shit. You feel me? Shorts. Yeah. You know, it's summertime. We finna get out here. You can check all of it to be available on jdkneedednow.com. And you can just hit me directly. You can hit me and I got that shit out the trunk. You feel me?
All right. And say it again. Where can they get it?
Hit me at jdkneedednow.com. Hit me directly on IG, JDK Needed Now. Hit me at JDK the Underboss on Facebook. You better off getting it directly, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to have that shit on me. You feel me?
And support Sac Report Magazine. Root, how can they reach you?
And support Sac Report. If you're looking for advertisement, you got the business.
Instagram, Rupert Carter on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Most of it, you can find me on all them platforms under I Am Root Dog, Rupert Carter.
Right.
And you coming out of retirement.
I ain't never retired. Like I said, you know, sometimes it's just, you old enough to see the transition between the first Magic Johnson game and the second Magic Johnson game. You know, it was two different ball players. You know, he played real wisely on his second part of his career. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, like I said, I mean, and smart men take less chances. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like, I kind of, you know, like I said, shit kind of spun out of control. And me personally, I admit, you know, I had my foot in the streets too. So, you know, I was susceptible to anything that happens to these young niggas today happening to me. You know, I took a few spins and went down and went to jail a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't rat on nobody, nigga. Check that out. You feel me?
Hey, we love you, Alita. You know what I'm saying?
And we got to get to JDK. We spoke about this, but we got to get together. And I meet with Marvelous this weekend to talk about what we have spoke together about doing that career day and stuff. So we all got to
get together. Tell my girl I said, shout out. You feel me? Yeah. Get at me. You feel me? Let's reincarnate some shit.
Yeah. Love you guys. You know, and I hope y'all
love you too. We appreciate you so much, and we think we wish nothing but the best for you and all your endeavors or whatever, whatnot. You know, stay in contact with us or whatever, whatnot. And I'm gonna email you some things that, you know, like I said, you behind the scenes, so I'm gonna email you some things I got going. Now, you know, give you you know, let you know your brain on the shelf. You know, by demand. It's a choice thing.
And you guys are always, anytime y'all want to do, say, Leader, let's jump on this live. I need to announce something. Anytime you want to.
I appreciate you having us on your platform. God bless. Shouts out to everybody that support the Needed Now brand and JDK the Underboss, Root Dog. You know,
y'all knew I was gonna look. I couldn't do no shows and not have my, you know, y'all on.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the love, and you know, I'm motherfucker phone call away. Tap in with me.
All right, most
Sacramento,
definitely.
Max, y'all check that trumpet call out right now, available. You know what I'm saying? A new single. Also, I'm a part of Max 17, Soup Bone. You know what I mean? I'm working around the clock with in every ways. I'm doing features. I'm hustling. I'm bringing the shit back to the gravel again. So tap in with me. JDK needed now around this bitch. You hear me?
All right.
Shout out to you, bro. Love you.
Love you
Salute.
too, bro. Shouts
Love
out
you
to
too,
Root
leader.
Dog. Shouts out to Root Dog. We don't get to do this shit. This was legendary, bro. I love you. I appreciate everything we've been through. I appreciate all the lessons and all the things you showed me as a young adult growing up in this shit.
Y'all
And
gonna make me
and I
cry.
like to thank you and I salute you, bro. You know what I'm saying, nigga, for being my big bro, nigga. And you know it's me and you, nigga, until the wheels fall off, nigga. They can't stop us.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoop,
You know,
whoop.
stay tuned. Stay tuned. Need it now. You know what I'm saying? Love you.
All
Love you,
right.
bro. We need it now,
Love
not
you,
later.
leader.
All right. Love you guys. See you later.
All
Bye.
right.
All right.